Okay, hello everyone again. So this is Robin, and last time we finished all the talking about the availability sets, skill sets, and custom extensions. So this time in this session, we're going to spend a little time just demonstrate uh, whatever I have been covering before. So it won't last for 45 minutes, trust me. So it will be a short demo for this. So first, let's go to the go create a availability sets, right? So you can go ahead and search availability sets. So yeah, so I've already one created here. The reason is because if I, the real time for creating this in demo, it takes quite a while. Even with the PowerShell or the custom scripts to do this, it takes up to, for provision all the machines, takes quite a while, around 15 minutes. And I hate to pause and go come back. So I will just create one already, but I will demonstrate how do you create one anyway, right? So we all see this before. So you select the name, your subscription, the resource group. So provision this before, select that, or if you don't have one, create a new. Find the location you want and decide how many domains, full domain can have, as we demonstrated before. So you have to know your limitation. So there are two, minimum two, and maximum three for a lot of regions. And up the domain you can have up to 20. So yeah, and prefer to use management disk. All right. So if you prefer the script way, just click the automation options. Filling this, click the automate options. It will generate the script, the JSON file you can download and do your own customization. All right. So once that's been created, you click into this availability sets, right? So it will be empty and you cannot create your virtual machine from here. It's not possible. It will list the one you already created. So you have to create from the virtual machine tab. That's the UI way of doing that, right? So if you do this through PowerShell, it's automated, right? So you can create a virtual machine and you notice the availability options. You have these availability sets, which you can choose. And remember this, you must select the same region, right? This cannot be cross-region like other resource. Like at my resource group, it's in Central US, but I want my machine in Japan East. That's possible, but for this, it must be in the same region. So for example here, I don't have one in Japan East. The one I have is in Central US. So I have to select Central US, right? So uh, okay, oops, that's the availability zone. Which one I set this here? So oh, sorry, I didn't select the resource group. Nah, that's why. Okay, now you say it's available now, right? So you have to select this. Yeah, there must be within the same group, resource group, of course. So you select everything. So remember, availability group allows you have different size and different machines. So because it can be tier wise, you can have your front tier, you can have your back tier on different update domain and full domain, right? So that's possible. So that's generally it. Everything else is just like creating virtual machines, right? We don't have to go over them. That's already been covered in the previous sessions. So, and another thing I do need to point out is you cannot provision an existing machine to your availability group, right? So there's no way you can do that. So if you can search availability sets, see there's none, right? And I cannot add them after being provisioned, right? They have a warning here, not really information. The availability set can only be configured when creating a virtual machine. You must recreate the virtual machine to move it in or out of availability sets, right? So that's give you. So if you forget to do that, you have to delete the machine, create again. You cannot do it afterwards. Or remove, but you can remove it, but you cannot do it afterwards. All right. So that's generally it's the availability sets. So let's go over to this sets again. So let me go back to, yeah. So you may probably noticed I have 5 machines created, right? So let me click into here again. So my virtual machines, I have 5. They're all stopped it. So I didn't turn them on because it's really money consuming. But here you go. You can see this fault domain and update domain, right? So Some people might ask if according to our lesson, this should be to 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, something like that. And this is supposed to be, I think I selected fives. So it should be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So it's not necessarily that way. So this will be distributed among your fault domain and update domain, but it's not necessary, all right? So, but here you go. You can see, so this one machine 3 is on fault domain 1 and update domain 1, and the machine 1, 2, and 5 is on update domain 0, and machine 4 is on update domain 2. So they were distributed. So you cannot really control which one is where, so it's up to you how you configure it, right? So here you go. That's the default. So I cannot really demo this because I don't have anything that's I cannot control Azure to have something crash in their server rack. So it's not possible for me from my side to do that anyway. So this just something you have to read more documents or uh, yeah, do more practices on automated this, right? There's no way you can demo this. So there is another option some of you might notice, right? When I create the virtual machines. So let me go back. So here's my 5 machines there. There we go. So let's do this again. There's another one called availability zoom, right? So what's this and why is there 3? So this is new, so it doesn't have this a couple years ago. So when the availability zones become publicly available, so the Azure regions, the region, remember there are 45 regions in the PowerPoint. I don't have the PowerPoint open, but you should know there are the 45 regions, right? So Azure regions will be broken down into 3 separate availability zones. So each the zone will be distinct uh, processing in its own power supply and its cooling, its high speed, low latency, those Azure, best connections. So if you're deploying a web tier, considering of like say 2 VMs in Ireland, let's say, so you can now make sure your VM1, machine 1 is placed in the availability zone 1 and VM2 is placed in availability zone 2. So if let's say for example zone 1 if was to fail, you or your customer that's accessing the VM1 would be able to still access VM2 in the zone 2. So this means your service won't have to run for a separate Azure region and it will be faster as a result. So it's especially useful if your customer are connecting the same region, right? So let's say they're all in Ireland, right? So the zone are also ideal if you have you must obey some regulations or legal requirements or laws. You must put your data service to be inside, a single Azure region. So there are customers like this. Enterprise one, they have, a legal team to do this. And another thing is the availability zone does cost a little bit more than availability sets, right? So I forgot the detail on the money side, but it does cost a little bit more. All right. So here we go. That's our short demo for the availability sets. So if you want to do the PowerShell, there's a reason I don't do the PowerShell because Azure has this, in docs, Microsoft.com, they automated everything. There's a plenty of really good PowerShell you can just run from uh, the, the article, right? There's a either copy you can run from there. Just sign in with your Azure account, you're able to run and do your even download and do your customization, right? That's really fantastic. So that's why I don't do the the PowerShell demo as well. So now let's jump into the second one, the scale sets, right? Virtual machine scale sets. So I have one created as well. So this one has been up and running for some time. So the reason is the minimum time for scale out or scale in is 5 minutes, right? So I get because I don't want, just blankly wait here, let you, we just wait and refresh every 4 minutes. Let's say, okay, it's been up or it's been down. So I don't want to do that. That's why I pre-provision this. But again, let's do that uh, from the beginning. So you give it a name. So we're gonna skip the simple part, right? So you can have your own uh, select your image here, right? You can browse the image that's being available to you. So here, just search the names, right? So if you have your own images from here, you can also choose that. And remember, the scale sets for your custom image is only up to 600 instance, but the one you browsed from the market, it's 1,000. All right. Okay, so you select your images, subscription, resource group, of course, the easy part. And here you must pay a lot of attention to, all right? So before I do this, I forgot about this myself, so I do get a warning when I create this in central US part. So they give you a warning like this. So operation resulting existing quota limits of core. Maximum allowed is 20 and currently use 16. So what this means is because you see my 5 virtual machines, the one I have in availability sets, they are all deployed in the central US, right? So each one has 4 cores, CPU cores, so that's being occupied. Uh, so the maximum allowed is, so I do have 16 already occupied, and the limit, if you remember, I said this before a couple times, that's each region and they have their restriction, like how many you can have. But this is not a hard limit. So if you want more, like I want 40 more here, I can request, right? Just click the new support request and it let you fill in your information, like the service level. It's the service level impact is A, B, or C, minimum or business impact, or it's critical. So choose your ones, and give a select the one how many instances you want. Like for example, here is 40, and submit the request. They generally respond faster. So for this instance, because I think I request too much, so they haven't replied me yet for some reason. So there's a human involved in that instance. So never mind. So I just create a resource group in a different region, which gave me more allocation anyway. So yeah, you can select the regions you want. You give the username password. This will be the username and password for your virtual machine that you need access to, right? And you have to select the instance, how many instances you want, right? You can have up to 1,000, as I suggest here. So and you choose the size, and here you notice everything must be identical, right? Everything's identical. If you choose standard DS1 version 2, that's the one. If it's scale up to 1,000, there will be 1,000 standard DS1 version 2. There won't be a DS2, right? That's not possible. So the preview feature we will not talk about. We won't be on the exam anyway, and prefer to use the management disk. All right, and you can show the advanced enables scaling beyond 100 instance. So if yeah, you can see, so if the skill set will be limited to 1, right? So the one placement group and can have a maximum capacity of 100. So if yes, the skill set can span multiple placement groups. So this allows for capacity to be up to 100,000, but change the availability characteristics of the skill sets. Right? So if you want this, sure, you just turn it on, but never mind. So auto scale, of course, we want this. I don't want to manually turn it on and off. So here is where you specify the details. Not really details, but the first detail you specify, right? So minimum, of course, you need 1 to run, and maximum number. So as I click the instance count is 2, right? So you don't want, I cannot have 10. It's not possible because the whole thing is 2. So you specify how many you want in total. So when it scale up, when the CPU reaches 75%, okay, increase 1. It's below 25% and decrease 1. So you might wonder, okay, where's the time I can specify? For example, I want to say if it's more than 10 minutes, then increase by 2. That's not being created here. And we will show where you can create those properties. And again, this can be done within PowerShell. You can specify the detail. But again, the UI is a different thing. So I'm going to only do the UI part, right? Okay, so there's the 2 options you can have for load balancing in a way. So there's the application gateway and the load balancer. So we prefer you to use load balancer because application gateway load balancer is free. So you can say it's free, and the application gateway it costs I can say it costs money, right? Uh, so so people might ask like, what's the difference between these two? So if you're familiar with, especially you studied CCNA before or basic networking, you know there's an OSI module, right, which have 7 layers: application, networking, transport, physical, blah blah blah, right? So all those. So the difference is this: the application gateway plays a load balancing on the layer 7, while the I'm sorry, the layer 4. So the load balancer plays on layer 7, right? So my bad. So reverse. So it's the Azure load balancer works with the traffic layer 4, while application gateway handles just layer 7 traffic. So within the HTTP, HTTPS, and WebSocket and those, right? So that's the major difference if you want to ask. And another some difference is as I said before, the load balancer is free, so there's no additional charge. The application gateway is billed per hour, as the pay-as-you-go goes, if you select that. And the application gateway supports application SSL termination, multi-site routing, and cookie-based sessions, affinity, and the web application firewall, etc. So the Azure load balancer only provides basic load balancing based on the 2 or 4 tuple matches. And also the load balancer only supports endpoint hosted in Azure, and while the application gateway can support any routable IP address. So that's why it costs extra charges. So here we were going to use the load balancer. All right, so you have to name that and create your virtual network. If you have one, you can select, but if you do not have, you can create one on your own. I don't select those, but it will give you an additional blade where you can specify the IP address. Right, so if you want to book Nestic and all those, you can turn it on, but otherwise we just leave everything in there. So there we go. Once you hit create, it costs like 3 or 5 minutes to be done. And if you want additional settings, that's here. You click into the blade of your scale sets and go to scaling, right? Here you can see the details. For example, scale out, right? So oops, okay, look here, right? So let's see. Well, so we don't care about those. So if it's greater than it's average, right? So if it's greater than 70% of CPU and the 5 minutes duration, we increase operations increase, right? So there's increase percentage by, increase count to, count by, percent by, decrease count to, right? All those 6 different ones. So we just say it's increased by. We increase 2 virtual machines and cool them down in 1 minute. All right. So yeah, of course you can select this as well. Greater or equal to, less than equal to, not equal to, all those as well. But generally, I barely saw people say it's equal to, because it's really hard to get a hold of all this. It's maintaining at 75%, right? So that's why we don't care about that. And of course, the metric, you can set different metric. It doesn't have to be CPU. So again, when you create a CPU, but you can select different one, inbound flows, discrete bytes, how many bytes, all those, right? Premier data disk cache read heat. You can it's preview feature anyway, so I don't recommend use the preview feature, and the preview feature will not be covered in the exam as well. So anyway, it's the metric you can specify, but here our demonstration purpose we only use the CPU, right? So that's the scale out. The scale in, it's the same one. If it's below 25% in 5 minutes, that just decrease 2 instance. So the 5 minutes actually is the minimum you can set, right? So if I wanted this to be 2 minutes, say it must be 720, which is 6 hours. All right, so there we go. All right. So after you done this, click into your access, not clicking access this via your RDP. So I do have my OS to be created as the Windows Server 2016 data center, right? I have this one. So we go to the sorry, overview. Never mind. Right. So of course we go to the virtual machine first. That's my 2016, and you download this CPU stress. So you can download this from Well, post the link. The link to downloads is in the description. You just click it, it will trigger the download. So what you do is you, if you want to trigger this to be all close to 100, right? So you set this to high, and you check all the as a thread. So if you go here, my operating my oops, where is that? My instance. Okay, it's not this one. Okay. Okay, give me one moment. I seem to. This always happened to me. I don't know for some reason. I always let me go to the resource group anyway. So skill set demo, virtual machine skill set. Oops, it's not this one. Sorry. Give me one moment here. I Oh, it's here. So my bad. So mine just stuck for some reason. So here you go. So you click the wrong history. You can see what's being turned up and down, right? So now let's go to 7 days. Like this to last 1 hour, right? So you can see. So for the before, I have only one instance running, right? And when the CPU goes up, you can see the turn up is okay up to 3, up to 4, right? Because the maximum I set is I only have 4, so it turns up 4, and it drops down to 1, right? So that's the chart you have, and you can see the history. So 31 minutes ago, what happened, right? So we can do the demo real quick as well. So we just turn everything on, and you can check this where your CPU, right? You can see now it's starting to goes to 90%. So we leave this here, right? We leave this here, and we go on and do our custom extension demo. We just leave it here, and now we go to our virtual machine, create one real quick. So let me choose a new resource group for custom extension. Uh, Alright, so forget it's Japanese. We'll choose this Windows Server 2016 data center. We'll change this to server level. Okay, so username. Right, so we can access, so we can see what's being up there. Alright, disks. I want this to be standard HDD. Okay, that's it. Okay, we let it provision, and when it's provisioned, we will do the demo. So during this time, I want to introduce something. So if you're Let's see. I know my training here. I mentioned before I have one that's in Chinese. This one I do is for English. So if you're speak Chinese or you're Chinese or anyway, you can go to this 51cto.com. So I have my AZ-103 already there. It's number 6 on the most popular class for now. So you can. It's my introduction. So yeah. So you can purchase the class from there. So. This will be covered the same. There are 12 modules, 12 modules. So I do have three, the important one for virtual machine and virtual network for free to watch. You can watch them. And there's 14 actually. So if you monetize the first introduction one, so there are 13 modules, 13 classes I published there. So it's consumed of 9 hours and 6 minutes. All right. So if you're Chinese or you speak Chinese, you prefer Chinese over English anyway, you can go here for 51CTO and search this class, and you can learn from there. So yeah, so I do have you may ask why I do this for free on YouTube, but I charge money in China. So I'm considering actually making this free as well. So until I think my recordings are finished for the English version, I will make this as a free one, right? So that's my plan. So don't ask me why. That's my personal interest. Right. So yeah, that's it. So if you're Chinese, go and watch it. So the important one is free. You can watch it. The others, I won't say the others are not important. They're important as well. Just those are the three major. The two are major part. They consume 40% of this class. Okay. All right. So let's go and see if this been created. Okay, it's creating. So let's see our machines run history, right? So go to the scale set I have, resource group. It's 1 hour. Okay, still one. So it had not been 5 minutes yet. That's why it's not triggered. Anyhow, so the you can see the history from before. So you can see when it's in scale up is initiated, right? So scale up complete. That's for 2 virtual machines, right? If it's being higher than that, it's provision 2, and it's still continue to be higher than it's provision another 2, but I only have 4. It's 3 now. It's only can provision 1. It's 1 is complete, and now I turn it on, turn the with CPU stress the application down, right? So that's the CPU goes to below 20%. So the down, that's when it's scale done complete, scale down initiate, scale down complete, right? So that's what's been happening in the backend. You can see, right? This the minimum. It's only 1 hour actually. You cannot scale this to like minutes, so that's why it's not able to to do that. So anyway, so let's see if that machine is ready. The uh, the extension. So I will just use any machine here. Just tell you where to do that. So you can click the extension tab. So add the one that you want to be added, right? So for here, you can use the custom extension. So PowerShell Commlet. So you can create and you can upload, right? I have one here that's only doing install the web server IIS. So we are going to use that machine anyway. So let's just wait until it's okay. It's finished right on time. So cool. So virtual machines demo. All right. So why is it still creating? Let me refresh the whole page. Okay, so we connect to that one. Connect. Oops. I have a really long password. Okay, it haven't been boot. Okay, it's booting up now finally. Lucky me. Right, let's run PowerShell. Okay, okay, get. Oh, okay, it's already available. Okay. So same, so it's by default it's being installed for the IIS. So nevertheless, so we're still gonna demonstrate this anyway. Uh, so the again, so the custom extension has to have the prerequisite that your machine is running, right? If your machine is turned off, it's not able to do anything. So we click this extension for this one, and we add custom script templates, PowerShell command. Oops, what's happening? Oh, sorry, it's great. Why do I click that one? Choose the one I have here on my desktop. Install as, right? So, okay, upload, okay. Submitting the deployment successful, right? So this is the one I created here, right? So I just have to wait until the status uh, to change. So that's well, it will be finished, right? So, but here again, so because it's already installed, so I don't expect this to have anything different. So I do apologize for this anyway. So uh, yeah, my bad. So okay, let's just take a look at the other one for our skill set. All right, so let's go to my skill set. Oops, skill set is here. All right, you can see, you notice the change happens. Right, this has been generated as of now, but oops, sorry, clicking the detail. You can see this will be happening 1 minute ago. The scale up initiated, right? Scale up complete just now. Right, so it's having been reflected on the chart. Uh, oops, I guess I have to use let's say 6 hours. Okay, it's having been reflect on the chart, but again, so you can see that's the current status for these machines, right? So yeah, so that's our demo for this uh, module 2 for this virtual machine, right? Scale sets, availability sets, and the custom extension. So I do apologize on the custom extension. I didn't expect this web server already be installed on the virtual machine because you know the one I recorded for my Chinese version, it's they're not installed during that time. But again, I didn't expect this to be happen. So accept my sincere apology on that. But you get the idea how you can run different extensions, right? You can even run extension to install antivirus softwares and third-party softwares, etc., etc. And it just not just PowerShell. There are plenty of that as well. Or checking your Office Pro Plus updates. So, okay, so that's my demo for Module 2. And in Module 3, we'll begin our talk on virtual network with another huge, very important, heavy loaded module. Right, thanks for watching.